Hey guys, it's your girl Mia, and today we're going to do a quick weave service on me. Hello, because I need my hair done. I need something done with this head. It's looking kind of crazy right now, but we have already shampooed, blow dried, greased the scalp, and pressed the hair. I'm going to show you what you're going to need for this quick weave, and then we'll get into it. We're going to use 1 pack of hair, and then we got 2 extra pieces for if you want some color, baby. Our hair tools for today, we're going to need flat iron, blow dryer. We're going to need our T-outliner, shears, rat tail, brush. All right, for our sundry items, rubber bands, neck strip. For product, 3 main ingredients got to be, oh, it's windy, Moroccan weave protectant, hair glue. All right, let's get into it. Hair. And the way we press the hair is we pressed it to the side because we are getting ready to do this quick weave. And the type of quick weave that I'm doing, in order to do a side part bob, I'm going to part that. Then we're going to braid this down. This will be the part that is going to be left out. I'm going to take one of your rubber bands, secure that. And for me, I like this part out. So whenever I get ready to glue this down, I'm going to glue the tracks from here, 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 here. But whenever I get up to here, I am going to go to the front. That way I'll be able to easily tuck this behind my ear, and I will kind of keep my edge area out and keep my edges protected from glue and such. And then we are sectioning to leave out, literally, we're only literally just going to leave out this little area right here. Typically, widow's peak kind of goes into what we're gluing down. So normally I will have some hair clips, but I really don't need the hair clips, but you can use hair clips. They're optional. They are recommended if you're not good at parting or things like that. But I'm pretty good at parting, so I don't really need that. So we have our leave out sectioned. And everything that's on this side, this is all going to get tucked. All going to get pinned and tucked. Okay, so since we're using 1 pack of weave, we're going to use 1 pack of weave and this excess blonde hair. So I don't really like glue from my occipital bone down. So I am actually only going to be focusing on gluing everything from the occipital up. I find that me leaving this area out allows me to let this area kind of rest and do its thing. I do have an issue with twirling in the back. However, whenever I have my hair done, I don't really bother the back. It's only whenever my hair is not done, whenever I will bother the back. So if you need to, you can braid this area down. I don't really need to because I'm pretty adept at doing this thing for myself. So way we're going to do this thing is, now you're going to take your got2b and your brush. This is a hard bristle brush. What you could do is you can kind of brush your hairs in a downward motion. to kind of get them together. Now, let's say your hair is long. Let's say your hair is long and you're going to use more than one pack of weave. If your hair is long and you're going to use more than one pack of weave, what you would do is you would direct your hair into, you could direct your hair down into a ball, or if your hair is long enough, you could French braid it and then tuck that French braid up. But I'm using short hair because this is what I got and this is what I'm working with. So I'm going to take this Got to Be and we're going to kind of just spritz up the part, everything from the occipital up. We're going to spritz. And the reason we're spritzing is because we got to lay this down so that we will have a base to work with. So after you add some spritz, you don't have to go crazy on the spritz, but you do have to have enough for it to lay down. Because after we put the spritz, we're also going to use our blow dryer. So we're just going to tuck behind the ear. We're tucking just behind the ear. Now what you do is you take your blow dryer. You take your blow dryer and you begin to tuck. You tuck that hair down and you slicking it back. You tucking it down, slicking it back. If you need to add a little bit more of that Got to Be, feel free. But again, this goal is not to give you helmet hair. This is just to give you a base so that you can put down your Weave Wonder wrap or whatever brand that you're utilizing. So I am going to go in with a second layer of the Got to Be. You're going to use your brush once more. Direct that hair down and back. And you're going to use your blow dryer. You can toggle between the hot and cool setting. That's pretty much down and set. And it doesn't really take much time in order for you to kind of direct this hair down and back. You don't necessarily have to get the edges down, because you can always come back in at the end, use a little bit of edge control and kind of, you know, finesse your edges if you'd like. I'm just showing you the basic rudimentary things that you need in order for you to do this. Another thing that you may need that I did not factor in may be a rubber glove. And the rubber glove will come in handy whenever doing the Weave Wonder wrap. So I'm going to go get a rubber glove and then I will come back, show you how to utilize this. All right, so got my rubber glove. If you are allergic to latex rubber gloves, you could use the nitrile gloves. It's up to you, personal preference there. But you're going to put your glove on, because now we're going to utilize the Weave Wonder Wrap. Now, for the Weave Wonder Wrap dries hard. First, it goes on like slime, but it gets tacky. So since it gets tacky, you will want to avoid your edge areas, because again, like I said, you could always come back in and you could finesse those edges and give yourself your little swoops, dupes, or whatever. So I'm going to open the top and show you how this is utilized, or how it is best utilized. You don't really need a lot, and you're going to work it in your hands. But after you work it in your hands, then you're going to just go over the same area, focusing on above the occipital bone. Occipital bone is back here, and you're going to, especially if you have short hair. If you have longer hair, you are going to probably put it on the balance of your hair, with the exception of the edges. You will leave the edges out. And this is just to give you a base for which to glue the latex glue with, which is why you want to avoid your edge areas. You need to be avoiding the edge areas because the edges are very delicate. Some people's are more delicate than others, and those are kind of that's kind of a stress point for some people's hair. Don't worry if the don't worry if the, like, the fact that we use the Got2b glue already, of course, this, you see this here is not laying down. I wouldn't really worry much about that, because it's going to lay down once we begin to glue those tracks in. So I'm going to use a little bit more because I need it for this large side here. You notice that I am kind of avoiding the edge area. I'm putting it on the larger mass of my hair, which is kind of from here on back, because again, I am going to, I may use some edge control at the end, but I don't always even use edge control. Sometimes I just kind of leave it natural. So again, I'm going to put a little bit more. Comes out tacky, and it's going to dry. And if you have a hooded dryer, after you put this on, you can sit under your hooded dryer. For the purposes of this video, I am not going to use my hooded dryer. I don't need that because, again, I am not putting this on my whole head, and I don't need my whole head to be dry necessarily before I start to glue some tracks in, because again, this is a quick weave, so it's supposed to be quick, but I just like to put this on to give my hair some protection. Some people will opt to utilize a stocking cap after this. I personally don't like to put the stocking cap on me. One, because it's extra. The more product you use, the more money you're using. But the more product you're probably going to use, the more time you're going to spend on this style. And the more time you spend on the style, time is money. Time is currency. So, yeah, since time is currency, don't use all your currency and don't use all your products, especially if you don't need to. If you have someone who has thick hair, you're protecting the hair as you're going, and this is kind of a decent level of protection. If you want to reuse your glove, go wash your glove. I think, or if you want to throw your glove away, go throw it away. I am going to go wash my glove because I could use this again. I only used it for this, so give me a moment. I'm going to wash my glove. Okay, it just dawned on me, another reason to go wash your glove and rinse it off and leave it on is because the next step is actually going to begin to glue this hair in. So it's going to be easier for you to glue the hair in using a glove, and you will protect your fingers from that latex. So we're going to use our blow dryer, get this to dry. That's actually pretty dry. What you can opt to do is if you feel like you need more surface, you can lightly re-spritz before, you know, maybe a little farther away, but you could lightly re-spritz before beginning to place those tracks. But one thing you have to remember with a Quickweave, whenever you get ready to take this out, you have to do this with water. Got to be has alcohol in it. The latex stuff does also have alcohol in it. These are very drying products for hair. So with that in mind, whenever you get ready to take this out, you're going to need to utilize shampoos and conditioners that are very slick. Whenever you take this out your hair, you're going to need not a fine tooth comb, but a regular styling comb would probably be best. Only whenever you get the extra glue pieces out is whenever you could go in with a fine tooth comb while you're taking this out. But whenever you're taking this out, the best way that I take this out at home is I just stand all under the shower water, submerging my head in that water, adding the shampoo specifically on those tracks. That is another reason why I kind of leave everything below the nape out, because I don't want to have to do all that. Typically, I'm only going to be dealing with the larger, more bulky pieces and areas of my hair. So, at any rate, now it's time to glue in these tracks. So, I have some human hair here. I have 16-inch human hair. I hate that I'm going to utilize the 16-inch. I wish this was a 12, but the fact that it's a 16 means that I can make a really good angle bob. Okay, so I'm gonna stretch that out, and the hair is relatively straight. If you're using curly hair, you're gonna have to flat iron the hair before you put it in your head. Why people decide to do that, I'm not sure. This is a bob, or we're making an angle bob, so it really doesn't need to be that complicated or anything. For the pieces that you may be adding, you may also need to flat iron them before you put them in your head, but you may not need to flat iron. It depends. If you're reusing hair, it may be more impactful for you to comb through the hair and or flat iron the hair before you get ready to start. I like this color blonde on me, but the way that I may end up utilizing this track is I'm going to probably put it underneath a black layer, or a layer of the 1B, because I do like a little pop of color, but I don't like to draw too much attention to myself. With regards to the ends, sometimes the ends of a track are curled because the hair is kind of like in a circular bundle. So what you could do is you can take that and then just go over the ends of the hair with the flat iron, put them in between your iron, and kind of flatten those end pieces out. That way you could get ready to glue that. Okay, now the fun part. Shears, and you're going to have your track. Shears with the track. And this is whenever it, you know, again, if your hair is short like mine, is slightly past the ear, so I am going to have a little bit of bulk that's going to poke. But once I glue this in, you will not see that bulk there. So you're going to measure from ear to ear, because again, we're not putting anything below the occipital. And that the reason for that is because we only have one pack of hair. Okay, so cut that. Now we're going to use our hair glue. Add the glue on the edge of the hair. Show you in case you don't know how. All right, we had a little bit of a issue with the glue, but now it's set. Okay, now you just are going to gently place your glue on your track. I'm going to show you this once, then we're going to speed up the video because this is kind of the longest part. Uh-oh. Or do I want to do this in real time? Normally it's good if you have a surface. I'm just showing you this on camera. So, yeah, this would even work faster with me if I had a surface that I was working with. So, again, this is the first track. Placing it ear to ear. Place it and hold it. Placing and holding. That is what we're doing at this point. Placing and holding. Take that blow dryer. All right. First track is in. Now I think I may speed up the video now that we got the first track placed so that we're not on the camera forever. Any more than an inch, then you may have issues with gaps in the tracks. That may pose a problem whenever you get ready to style and or cut. And we still have our colored tracks. That we have to incorporate in here. And as you get closer to the top, you may need to, or you may want to split the track. I don't know if I feel like showing you guys that, how to split the track, because this is supposed to be a quick video, so not sure if I really feel like doing that. If I end up splitting the track at the top, I'll show you how to split the track. I'm using my lap so I can have a base. Let's start on this side because this is the side that I have to make sure that I don't get the edge in. And as you pulling your track around, you always just, you know, make sure you placing it in the right area that you want the track to be in. Okay, now let's see how much track we got left. Okay, I think now I may need to begin to start using my blonde here because this is a shorter, I have less blonde than I have black. So, and I need to begin to angle my tracks. So I'm gonna angle that to there. because the effect that I want to get for my bob is I want a street look, which is why I'm going to put this underneath my black, because I'm not necessarily trying to highlight the blonde. I'm just trying to give myself a little bit more visual interest with the accent color. In regards to time, we're just under 30 minutes, so now I'm going to it is so windy outside. I'm gonna need a new Babylus soon. I've been meaning to buy a new one, but it is not yet in my budget. So I have been utilizing this same one that I have, even though I know that it's starting to get on struggle mode. Flat iron. Okay, so we're gonna glue it. I'll show you how I'm gluing this one because it's the first blonde piece. So I'm really gonna just do it the same that I was doing the black track or the 1B track. My hair is not jet. It's more like off black. And the reason that I keep my glove on is because I'm trying not to get a bunch of glue and things on my fingers. Because sometimes it's easy to get glue off your fingers, but I mean, who wants to have to clean additional mess if you absolutely don't have to? Make it easy on yourself. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna place the track over on this side first. Only because that's the area that I needed to angle around. Because again, this is a side angle bob, and the best part about bobs, I feel, is like the front bang area. All right, so we're gonna use blow dryer. Keep in mind, the reason that we're using less hair is because we want an angle bob that is still nice, but you want it to be less bulky. That's the purpose for it. So now I'm gonna fill in this area because, as you see, all I really need over here is like one more track. So now we're gonna fill this area over here in. It's kind of smooth sailing from here. Did that land on my face? Oh. Ooh, something is in my eye. Oop. And we're just filling the pieces in. I think I'm gonna put a black track between this because it's getting to be too bright for me. So we're gonna put a black track to bring it back to earth. Or, now let me just add the rest of the blonde, because what did I do with the other piece of blonde? There we go. Gonna add this other piece. I believe this may be the last blonde piece that I'm adding. Yeah. And this piece is gonna go straight back to the back here. And you see how I'm keeping the scissors in my hand, palming the shears. If you're skilled, you'll be able to, or skilled in that way to be able to palm your shears, you'll be able to palm your shears too while you work. All right, we got the glue on there. Place the track. Remember, we're placing it so that it reaches the back of this last track back here. That's enough of the blonde, because that's quite a bit of blonde. So now I have to bring it back down to earth, because that's quite a bit of blonde. But it'll be fine once I add the black over top. It'll give us the streaked look. All right, now is the task of bringing it back to earth. We've got, let's see, I could fit 2 tracks, but the rest of it are going to be black tracks. So I could probably fit 1 and then a second one. Well, first I'm gonna add a second track over top of that to bring it back to earth, and then I'll add the tracks that are gonna loop around. Because I just did not want a bunch of blonde. I really only wanted the blonde on the side of the bob, or the side of where the angle was, but yeah, I just frequently like to play around with this color blonde. This color blonde with my skin looks pretty decent because I have these yellow undertones in my skin. So I like this color of blonde on me. Looks all right. See how that brings that back down to earth and gives it more of a, oh, okay, we see your color, but you know, you're not trying to be somebody you're not. Because I only utilize blonde for the visual interest, for color purposes. For none other than that. Now, if you do have a, like I said, if you do have a hooded dryer, what you could do is, when you're done placing the tracks totally, if you have a hooded dryer, you can sit under that dryer and let your whole head dry up under there. Let me see. The way I have to do this one, I'm really trying not to split this track. The track on this side is a little bit thicker, so I'm gonna begin on this side for placing this one, and on this side, because again, we're covering up the blonde on the left side now, and then we will be placing our final track after this one. I will not be splitting the track. I will do that technique for a different video because I really don't feel like doing all of that today. And this particular track in the middle, it's kind of thick, so I would be like, I'll have to split it twice. I don't want to do that today. So no splitting of the tracks today. That's a skill for a different day. Oops. All right. See, that's why we wear gloves, because we're right-handed and we don't want to get a bunch. I mean, there's a little bit of glue on my left hand, but think of it. Clean one hand versus cleaning two hands. It's gonna be easier to clean one hand versus two. Okay, so we're gonna utilize a blow dryer here. Last track. Now remember, we're going to pull the track more forward this time on this area, because we're going to literally be following the area of the part. And we're going to glue the area around the part, or of the part, excuse me. And normally I would split the track, but I just don't feel like it. Not today. If it was extra thick, then I would. Track splitting is good for if you got a thick track and you need it to lay down a little bit flatter for it to be a little bit more flush with your own hair. That's when track splitting is best useful. All right. Okay, now for this one, we're putting it straight on our parting line. Straight on our parting line. Place it. And then we are going to blow dry. And you make sure that your glue is not on your actual hair, because when we get ready to flat iron our own hair, that way there's no glue on it. Blow dryer, if you need more blow drying, you could put, you could toggle between a cool shot of air and the blow dry, and the hot. Now we're going to get this latex off the hands. Another reason to wear a glove is because you still have a little bit of oil on this hand from earlier So you could kind of just rub the latex off that you did get on this hand. And then that's easy cleanup. And then you really don't have to clean much. Now is the fun part. The fun part, the fun part, the fun part. Okay, like I said before, you could sit under the dryer if you need to. With this, I don't think we need to but what you do is you have to gently now comb through and get your tangles out, or you could have combed through any tangles while you were working. But you see, that area is already shaping up, and look, tucks easily behind that ear. You need to be able to tuck this behind the ear. Well, that is if you're doing a angle bob like the one that I'm doing. Okay, let's cut this down. All right, now the thing to do now, what we will need to continue the service, you are probably going to additionally need wax stick, mousse, and some serum. And perhaps in that order, or nah, not in that order. First, we're going to get this mousse because we're going to take our braids out. Take our braids out, and we are going to utilize some mousse. You don't need a whole lot of mousse, really just a little bit. It's just to get your own hair to merge with the weave hair. You will kind of incorporate your hair with the weave hair, because we're gonna begin to flat iron the bottom of this. So you could use those neck strips if you're gonna sit under the dryer. I'm not gonna do all of that sitting under the dryer stuff. I don't feel like sitting under the dryer today. So use this. You don't need a lot of mousse. You really only need a little bit. It's really just to, you know, for those ends to incorporate and get your own hair to lay down alongside that weave. And you don't need much. You don't need much at all. So now we're going to flat iron the bottom. Because we're going to get this as straight as we can get it, because the next step is going to be to cut this. Or do I feel like, oh, I don't know, sometimes I don't cut the bob immediately. Sometimes I will leave this long and then I cut it over time to give myself multiple hairstyles. Be careful not to go up too high because your hair is wet. We do not want to be flat ironing wet hair. I do wish that I had put a piece of an additional piece of black, but it's all right. It actually, just get that wave out of there. There's like a wave on at the base of the track. Okay. Now, let me just, since I'm not going to sit under dry, I am going to blow dry the top of this so I can keep moving. Little bit easier to do with a nozzle concentrator on the dryer, but I could not, I didn't feel like going back to go get it. So all right, so I think I will add an additional track in here because there is an area that is, I separated the track too much. So one moment. Okay, I guess I'll have to show you how to split a track now, because I have to add a little track in between because the second track that I placed was too far from the first one. So I'm going to show you how to split a track today. All right, and the only reason I showed you that is because I needed to take this, and I'll just show you. There's a whole area here. I separated it too much. This is more than an inch. This is like 2 inches, so missing a track right there in the middle. That's why I have to add that track in the middle there. Sometimes it's at the end whenever you realize like, oh, I need a little bit more. You can still do this with one pack because again, we've managed to do this with one pack, and I would have been able to just straight up do this with one pack just straight up if I didn't want to add the extra burst of color. So you can do this whole quick weave with literally, are we out of glue? I just wanted color, so we're using a pack and 2 tracks, or pack and 2 wefts, or 2 tracks. And the 2 tracks will cut from the 2 tracks of the color will cut from the same new weft. But if you wanted to use 2 different colors, you could use 2 different colors. If you wanted to do like your own piano colors, you would just take 2 different colors of weave, and every other track, whenever you get ready to place the tracks with the glue, you would just glue every other track as a different color, if that makes sense. That way you would have your piano color. Kind of how mine is showing up on, you know, under with the black on top of the blind. That's how you would do that. Now, if I would have been thinking, I would have measured this shit out, but I figured that it was gonna fit because whenever I use one pack of hair, I do use the whole pack. There's typically none left over from the pack. done placing the tracks. Now, only thing left to do is to situate these ends. So let's see, how do we want to do this? I think I'm going to leave it long. We're going to leave this long this time, and then we're going to just, I'm going to just even the ends because this is 16 inches, or I'm going to use this hair twice, 2 times. This one is this first time when I install. I am going to wash this hair in between. And then I'm going to reuse this same hair for the next go around whenever I do the actual bob. Because I think for today, in the interest of time, I am going to just clip the ends and even this out. Yeah, that's how we'll do this one for this go around. Yeah, because we could just bump that under. Stick. And we're going to blend the human's hair with the human hair. See, that's a blend. That works. Let's do the front here. That's a blend. That works. That I placed in place. I'm just flat ironing my hair and incorporating it with the last track. And if you need to, you can also use a pressing comb if you need to. Just curl that under. Then we will just do the same here. I'm just doing finishing touches. You can put some of this on your palm. Emulsify. And then, you know, put it on any little flyaways that might be evident. And then, let's see, you can also, you know, jazz it up a little bit. Ooh. Curl it a little bit. Mm-hmm.